Hi, Youngstown City School families. It's me, Mrs. Roseck, coming from Taft Elementary. I've chosen to read you another book today by Matt de la Pena and illustrated by Lauren Long. The book's title is Love. You can see from the cover, it's just a feel-good, kind of meant to make you think about love and who you love and all those around us who need it. This author, I know that you've probably heard of him before if you've been listening into all the read-alouds. Matt de la Pena is also the author of Last Stop on Market Street, and I know that Mrs. Walker read this one previously, so you've probably heard of him before. I wanted to talk a little bit about Matt de la Pena before I get started. Matt de la Pena is a Newbery Award-winning author, which means that the Newbery is an award that's given by the Associations for Library Services to Children. And when you win this award, they're recognizing you as one of the most distinguished contributions to American literature for children in the year that you were awarded. So Matt de la Pena is kind of a big deal. So with that, before we get started, I wanted to read to you some inspirational words that he kind of gives us on the inside book jacket that kind of make me feel like it sets the mood and the tone for us to get started in this book. It says, love is the melody that follows us through each and every day of our lives. Whether it's the sound of our parents' voices lulling us to sleep, the joyful laughter of an uncle's latest tall tale, or the warm embrace of a loved one telling us everything will be okay. It's a feeling that takes countless forms and ultimately connects us all. In this stirring celebration of love, Newbery Medal-winning author Matt de la Pena and best-selling illustrator Lauren Long depict the many ways that we experience this universal bond. With heartfelt illustrations and a soothing lyrical text, this tender tale is a needed comfort and a new classic that will resonate with readers of every age. And I think that we can definitely use some of this needed comfort right now. So there's a couple words I want to talk about before we get started. The first one is beacon. It's a noun, which means it's a thing. If you look at it, it has two syllables, beacon. The definition is a light or a fire used as a signal, warning, or guide, usually to boats at sea or for airplanes. So let's take a look at the sentence. The beacon from the lighthouse helped the captain dock in the fog. Now, in this story, they're not talking about a beacon, a light in a lighthouse, or a fire that helps people see where to park, so to speak. Beacon is often used as symbolism. So I want you to think back a few years. Youngstown used to have a lighthouse on their website, and we were called the Beacon of Hope. How could a school be a beacon? How could a school be a signal, warning, or guide? Think about that for a second, because in this story, the beacon is used as a symbol. It's figurative language. It's not necessarily that light or that fire, but how could someone guide as a beacon? Think about that, because that's how it's used in this book. The second word I want to talk about before we get started is congregate. Congregate is a verb, which means it's an action word. It's something that you do. It has three syllables. You can see congregate. Congregate means to gather or to get into a crowd. We will congregate to hear her sing. Means we'll come together. We'll group together. In this story, they talk about clouds congregating. So visualize that in your head, how clouds could congregate. Okay, those are two words I just wanted to talk about so you don't get thrown off when we get there. Enjoy. This is Love by Newbery Medal-winning author Matt de la Pena and New York Times bestselling illustrator Lauren Long. Here's a quick look at the dedications page. Matt de la Pena dedicates for Stephen Malk, and Lauren Love for my mother and father for the life of love. In the beginning there is light and two wide-eyed figures standing near the foot of your bed, and the sound of their voices is love. A cab driver plays love softly on his radio while you bounce in the back with the bumps of the city, and everything smells new, and it smells like life. Love, too, is the smell of crashing waves and a train whistling blindly in the distance, and each night the sky above your trailer turns the color of love. In a crowded concrete park, you toddle towards summer sprinklers while older kids skip rope and run up the slide, and soon you are running among them, and the echo of your laughter is love. On the night the fire alarm blares, you're pulled from sleep and whisked into the street where a quiet old lady is pointing to the sky. Stars shine long after they've flamed out, she tells you, and the shine they shine with is love. But it's not only stars that flame out, you discover. It's summers too, and friendships, and people. And as I look at this picture, I'm kind of wondering, the chair turned over and the lamp, what do you think might have happened here? Take a look at the piano and the things that are on top of it. Turn to someone next to you and talk about what you think is happening in this picture. One day you find your family nervously huddled around the TV, but when you ask what happened, they answer with silence and shift between you and the screen. In your dream that night, you are searching for a love that seems lost. You open and close drawers, lift cushions, empty old toy bins, but there's nothing. You wake with a start in the arms of a loved one who bends to your ear and whispers, "It's okay, it's okay, it's love." And in time, you learn to recognize a love overlooked, a love that wakes at dawn and rides to work on the bus, a slice of burned toast that tastes like love. And it's love in each deep crease of your grandfather's face as he lowers himself onto an overturned bucket to fish. And it's love in the rustling leaves of gnarled trees lined behind the flower fields. And it's love in the made-up stories your uncles tell in the backyard between wild horseshoe throws. And the man in rags outside the subway station plays love notes that lift into the sky like tiny beacons of light. And the face staring back in the bathroom mirror. This too is love. So when the time comes for you to set off on your own, heavy winds will sweep past your building and great gray clouds will congregate above. Your loved ones will stand there like puddles beneath their umbrellas, holding you tight and kissing you and wishing you luck. But it won't be luck you'll leave with, because you'll have love. You'll have love, love, love. So I hoped you liked that reading of Love by Matt de la Pena. I think it'd be really fun now if we tried something. Think of a time that you felt love, something that looks like love to you. So I decided to share my story with you. When I think about love, I think of this story with my son. This is my artistic representation of my son, Joe. The story goes a little something like this. We had this beautiful cardinal flying around our yard, and for months I watched it in the trees across the yard, and it would sometimes get really close to my porch and land on the railing, and I'd always call the boys to look at them. Well, one day my son Joe went outside and He came back in running. He was so excited. He had that bird in his hand and it was dead. It had flown into our car with the window down and trapped itself and died. And he was so excited to give me this gift of this bird that I had watched for so many months and told them how beautiful I thought it was. Even though it was kind of sick and I screamed and I made him take it back outside and get in the shower and scrub his hands. It was his way of telling me how much he loved me, bringing me something that I had admired so much. So think of a time that happened to you where you felt love, something that represents love to you, and draw it. Take your time and have a fun time doing that little project. I've had a great time reading the book Loved by Matt De La Pena to you. Turn to somebody and tell them that you love them today. We don't say it often enough. I guarantee you your teachers love you and they miss you very much. Take care.